He stopped making RDR2 content, throw him in the loony bin.
I'm not going back to jail!
Okay, we back.
So it's been a bit, but I'm back with more Red Dead Mega-Analysis.
We're back.
We're back! We are so f***ing back!
After a Halloween special, a journal playthrough update, a review of an unrelated game, and even a remake of a 5-year-old analysis of a 30-year-old kids movie,
which is one of my best videos, actually. Highly recommend
it seems I've lost my marbles, and not just the plot. It's one thing to begin the total character analyses with the Calendar Boys and Jenny, but to immediately go to Micah? And then Uncle? May as well do the dog next. Actually? No. You see,
I lost focus.
We need to reconvene. We need clarity. We need structure. And what better way to realign our focus than to unpack the person who embodies structure? We need Grimshaw. There, see, all those other videos, just the setup for this transition.
This is all going to plan.
Are you sure?
Susan Grimshaw is the Vanderlyn Gang's administrator, the camp mom, the one who cares about everyone, and the one who will use that firm hand to smack some sense into some fools.
She's been taken. Oh. No. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. If I was to kill Miss Grimshaw, would Dutch be mad?
I think, as a general rule, Dutch likes to avoid murder within the camp. I mean, there was that one time, but he was a traitor.
Foreshadowing.
Miss Grimshaw, well, Dutch has a soft spot for her.
I thought as much. Was she always like this?
I ain't quite old enough to know.
No, of course. So as long as you've known her?
She's always liked her swill of vinegar.
I'd like to give her a swig of arsenic.
We'll just do it discreetly.
I will.
They'll talk mean behind her back, but they know the innate value Grimshaw has. The kind of value that increases the camp's value.
Managing to keep everyone in line?
I'm doing my best.
Any troublemakers, you let me know.
Sounds good, Mr. Morgan.
What would we do without you?
Turn feral, I imagine.
Just know, we're grateful.
Grimshaw is a part of organizing the camp layouts.
I need some rest. I haven't slept in 3 days.
You're over here. Miss O'Shea will show you the way. Mr. Morgan, we put you in a room over here.
Thank you, Miss Grimshaw.
Mr. Bell, you're with the fellas over there.
Now the girls have your tent ready, Mr. Morgan. Come with me. You two will be ready shortly. We put you over here.
I'm sure everything will be fine, Miss Grimshaw.
It should be. Most of your stuff from Blackwater got saved.
Everything apart from my money.
Oh, don't remind me.
Well, we can always make more money.
We're gonna have to.
And she orders around the camp layabouts if they're not doing enough.
You know, miss, I've killed girls that betrayed us, and done it happily.
Is reading betrayal in your world, Miss Grimshaw?
Not reading, miss. Idleness. Idleness is betrayal because it means I work so you don't have to. That's not right, is it?
I guess not, miss.
You're right, not missy. On! What
Hello
you
there.
doing, Tilly?
Nothing, Miss Grimshaw.
That's right, nothing. You're useless. You're worse than useless. You're a parasite. You're a worm. Ridiculous. Get ready.
But I don't want to work, Miss Grimshaw. I don't feel right.
I don't care what you feel, girl. Get ready!
And not just the women, but Arthur too.
What's wrong with you, Mr. Morgan?
How'd you mean?
You're stuck in camp all the time. You used to be such a man of action.
Well, I'm sorry.
Which really makes me wonder what Arthur was doing at Horseshoe Overlook for 2 whole weeks. Susan Grimshaw is the backbone of the gang.
Grimshaw, the firm but loving backbone of the game.
Without a backbone, the organism cannot stand. It might be able to live in an unlikely and uncommon kind of way for a creature that's supposed to have it, but generally, without the structure of the spine, the being cannot be.
I replaced your bones with fruit by the foot.
Yes, indeed.
And like I mentioned in the Micah section, the backbone is one of the last elements of the gang to go before the rest of them scatter. Without Grimshaw, the organism, the organization of the Vanderlyn gang could not stand. That's how important she is.
You think you can make this place work?
Of course. Don't I always?
With Mr. Pearson, Miss Grimshaw was always turned to for turning any vacant lot or dilapidated spot into a camp. But notice how the orders given by Dutch grow less and less considerate as such.
We've been through worse than this before. Mr. Pearson, Miss Grimshaw, I need you to turn this place into a camp. We may be here for a few days. Miss Grimshaw, Mr. Pearson, put everyone to work. Make this place a home. I love it. Miss Grimshaw, Mr. Pearson, would you two kindly work your magic?
In the beginning, Dutch still has an ounce of genuine concern for his people. And to Clement's point, he orders them to order others around, nondescript, nonchalant. And after forgetting to mourn the loss of one of his own...
I know, I heard about John too. I don't want to even think about that right now.
Dutch distances himself further by dismissively waving his hands at the homemaking duo. This is the last time we directly see Dutch ask them to turn an untamed site into a camp, possibly signifying that Shady Belle is the last time camp will feel like a real home. While Pearson does the essential work of keeping everyone fed, Grimshaw does the essential work of overseeing the chores, keeping everyone in line, which keeps everything together, stronger, healthier, higher morale, like this missable moment in Chapter 1.
Keep warm, all of you. Keep warm. Just a few more days and we'll get off this hill.
I hope so.
Stay strong.
It's been a nasty few days.
I know. And we've had tough times before. We keep moving, and we keep together. Same as always. All of you. Ain't that so, Mr. Morgan?
Of course.
That's the backbone. Posture check. Posture check. Okay, good.
Oh, my back!
Unlike all other living gang members, Grimshaw's importance and presence is not nearly as emphasized as everyone else's, at least not in cutscenes. I mean, even Jack holds more importance than Grimshaw appears to, leading some analyzers like Cynic to think that she's been underutilized as a gang member, perhaps even as a whole character.
Whatever the reason, it does feel like a giant missed opportunity in hindsight to make her more versatile than she is, which she really isn't. If she was displayed as being willing and capable of making critical decisions for the collective gang whenever Dutch, Jose, and Arthur went present, would have not only been an incredible way to increase Miss Grimshaw's on-screen time, which is something that's already low, but it would have made the older days of the Vanderlyn gang much more spectacular if we had seen Miss Grimshaw be much more proactive with her leading her own missions, or if she was discovered as the person responsible for allowing the women to run off the way they did, truly coming in a full circle.
But with respect to the man who's been unpacking this game far longer than I have, I do not see it that way. Grimshaw, big shock, is a woman. Stay with me. Grimshaw
is a woman.
But not just any woman. She's the matriarch of the gang, one of the original members, having been there as long as Arthur has. All these things you already know, Cynic, but I believe it's a mistake to impose male standards and values onto a female character, especially an older mom figure. Grimshaw's actress, Kaili Vernoff, understands her character well, but that hardly makes her an exception in this cast. Everyone's stellar at fully embodying their characters, but during an episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings, Miss Vernoff sums up Susan perfectly.
And then it's this she believes that she is really instrumental to the gang's success, that she has made herself, transformed herself from being kind of just like this younger, sexy girlfriend type to this older, invaluable member of the gang. And I think that's how she has kept herself feeling
kind of like
useful.
Ma Barker, except not.
Yeah, yes, keeping herself useful.
Won't you say a few words, Mother of the Year? Why, Mrs. Chairlady, I'll be happy to say a few words. Stick 'em up!
Ma Barker, by the way, was the mother of several gangsters during the Public Enemy era, and she gained a reputation for being a commanding, cunning killer, but according to most of the reports after she got FBI'd, Kate Barker was not the brains of the operation. In fact, she probably was not involved in much of anything that the Barker Karpus gang had planned. But that did not stop Hollywood from romanticizing her crime life like they did Bonnie and Clyde through many a movie. Although false, perhaps this reputation as a ruthless mama mobster was the inspiration for this outlaw lady.
Why, you old battleaxe, we wouldn't give you...
Oh, sweet child.
Move along, you old battleaxe.
I don't like that tone. You say that again, and I'll rattle your tonsils till that mink turns into the rabbit it is. I got no time for cheats or pony blondes.
I'm sorry.
Get yourself cleaned up. Come on. It's pathetic. You, a man of the cloth.
What, Carney? What loot?
Where did you get the cash box?
Will you shut up and let me handle this?
What box?
The money box.
Kaili also tells a story about a mother who, after her kids went to sleep, played the game and connected with Grimshaw for how she was depicted.
And I remember this woman came up to me and she said, you know, I've got 3 kids. And at the end of the day, when I put them to bed, what I want to do is play this game. And that's how I disappear. And seeing a woman who is a female character in middle age, who is not hypersexualized and who gets to be bossy and gets to be kind of annoying and gets to be, you know, like mean, and still gets to have full agency within this gang. She said, I don't see a lot of that.
And that gamer mom was right. We don't see this kind of woman depicted in not just gaming, but popular media overall. Leastways not this prominently in the plot, but if I give it some thought, Joyce Byers from Stranger Things is the one prominent female character within this archetype that comes to my mind. Not saying that there are no other motherly smothering figures out there. I mean, I don't watch shows anymore, so I would know. Again, I don't know things, but when it comes to what's put in the forefront, this kind of woman, the firm, annoying mom, is barely shown and thus rarely seen. All the women characters nowadays have got to be capable of killing many men, incapable of being corrected on anything, and worst of all, defined by their independence from other people. Or in other words, the most insufferable kind of woman.
I don't need friends. They disappoint me.
And that's not who Grimshaw is. She is boss.
My camp, my rules.
But she's not girl. She's woman, the kind that shapes up boys to become better men, the kind that's had a strict past and gets hate for her strictness in the present, and the kind that's defined by how they maintain the world around them. The world, the camp, it's not the tents and the physical environment, it's the people. The world has always been people. Grimshaw doesn't need to lead missions, join robberies, or even plan robberies for her or any other woman to be a more valuable member of the gang. She's already clearly valuable. In fact, she's indispensable, both in-game and from the player's perspective. The player simply needs to slow down and see how. As shown with these earlier confrontations, the bulk of Grimshaw's value is revealed by paying attention at camp.
Susan's among one of the first people to rise and among the first to work. After a quick wash, a cup of coffee, and a view, she will wash dishes, clean tables, pestle poultices, and knit socks and handkerchiefs.
In between these chores, Grimshaw reasonably rests. While she is notorious for her sad way of showing affection,
Miss Jackson, I've seen shit with more common sense than you. Do it properly.
You can't call her lazy. Even if she's not doing the laundry,
that's what the young spinal cords are for.
She puts in the work and sets the example, working till 9 o'clock in the evening. Additionally, she will be appreciative of Arthur doing his chores.
You're setting a good example there, Mr. Morgan.
Which in turn inspires the ladies to work hard enough for Grimshaw to notice.
Well, you girls actually appear to be working.
Another sign of good game design, rewarding the player with verbal approval from the characters we're supposed to care about. Among these chores is refilling the basin and the wash bin, the latter of which becomes the centerpiece for one and potentially 2 more of Grimshaw's best and very easily missable moments. Say you come back to camp during the day, and let's say you got into a fight with Tommy on the muddy streets. If you pulled an Asmongold and avoided the local bathtub...
What's this?
What's this?
Grimshaw may confront Arthur about his filthiness, and what follows is one of the most endearing exchanges in the game.
Mr. Morgan, you're quite a sight.
What's wrong?
You're revolting, and you'll get all of us sick. Come with me.
Oh, I'm sort of busy right now.
I wasn't asking. I'm telling. My camp, my rules. Come on.
The initial back and forth is great, because both the reason for the confrontation and Arthur's reaction
What's wrong?
really hammer home how much of a mom Grimshaw is. This man is 36, and Susan's complaint makes him turn into a messy kid again, which is how far back the 2 of them go. There's potentially 3 of these wash bin encounters because the player can trigger 2 more if they repeat the conditions. Each one is different. Each one shows the respect Susan deserves because of the standard she upholds, and each one shows Arthur giving her 3 8 1/3 cent bills. Okay, the confrontation acts as a tutorial/reminder about keeping Arthur clean because NPCs will notice. It therefore reinforces the illusion that these characters are real people. Mega points to the game's favor. I'd much rather keep these easily missable cutscenes than to have her lead a robbery or two. It's simply not necessary. Little moments like these are magnificent in further cementing Susan's worth, but these scenes are, like I said, quite missable. I have never encountered this scene organically, in my own playthrough, and even when I tried arbitrating it, I think I was about to get it, but then it accidentally canceled because I was trying to get closer to the spot where the pair of them will teleport just for, so that there wasn't a continuity error. Why do I play games like this? If I somehow manage to have fixed it by then I will not put this in the video. Am I in the video? Scenes like this are among the many benefits of soaking in all the time you can with the gang. You don't miss out on the cool things. But I thought you said lingering in Chapter 2 is immoral. Yes.
Correct.
And notice how I didn't give you the Bertram voice, because I did say this, but I said it in a very specific way. There is a fine line between intently and intensely savoring what the game's core has in store and pretending the story doesn't matter at all just because you don't want the bad things to happen. On top of hopefully inspiring the viewer to get out of the unjustifiable ruts that they'd rather not be in, I was pleading with the player to care about the story, which is inarguably the main thing about this game, and more or less the one element that really matters. The actual game here is the story and the shooting galleries, the characters and the missions, like it always has been since Revolver. This is an aside, but I feel the need to remind everyone that Red Dead Redemption 2 is not an open world game. In fact, outside of the first 2 GTAs, I don't know if Rockstar has ever made an actual open world game, but that's a big ass ball of pretension that we do not have time for right now. I already ran out of it. This video's about Grimshaw, a character who needed to exist for the game's sake. Otherwise, the family aspect is diminished to the point of only fooling themselves. Which they were fooling themselves on most things. Dutch might have fooled the gang and himself into believing that what they do for a living was justified and noble, but the idea that the Vanderlyn gang was a legitimate family? That was real. It wasn't healthy, and it didn't last, but it was real. Grimshaw is proof that it was always real. But who is Susan Grimshaw? As a person, we understand the extent of her role, but what about her soul?
Now, how am a girl supposed to feel okay about themselves with nothing but a bunch of sour-faced killers for company? Well, I do my best to keep them presentable. I really do. But there's no one to help me. Oh, I know you lot just laugh at me behind my back. I know what you say. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Being the camp joke. Well, just because I have standards, huh? And manners. Manners is important. Manners is everything. Oh, you lot ain't got no manners. Just look at you. Bunch of cow herders, the lot of you.
While Grimshaw may not be sexualized in the way that her actress described, she is, as the credits call her, a former painted lady.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
A whore.
You could say she's acquainted with the paint. Perhaps this will be surprising to some, but her former occupation is not that common of a job for the women of the gang. Out of the 7 ladies, only 2 of them were ever working girls, and neither one of them currently are. Outside of Susan and Abigail, the rest are thief, robber, lover, and Sadie. Of course, the youngest ones attempt to play at some of the men of Valentine, but these marks were drunken fools about to have their wallets stolen, not legitimate customers of the oldest occupation.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
And sure, Grimshaw does degrade them at the campfire by calling them
whores with ideas miles above their station.
But she's merely insulting them for how they disrespect her. From this monologue, we learn a bit about her past, perhaps not as a painted lady, but as a woman who was raised in a much stricter environment.
I mean, in my day, it just didn't happen. Talk back to a madam? I'd have been horsewhipped. And I was. Oh, I was horsewhipped. And I'm grateful.
Oh, I wish Dutch had let me whip some of them pathetic wretches into shape.
Her desire to whip the girls into shape isn't because she wants to vent her anger on them. It's to prepare them.
They need it. Oh, so help me God. They need it. I mean, it's bad now, but it's only going to get worse.
Another side note, it's in this campfire speech that we get to hear the original audio for that ambient camp noise that you always hear when hanging about.
It's got ridiculous. Every last one of them. Good-for-nothing brats.
Might be a little lazy on Rockstar's part, but it nonetheless adds to the atmosphere of Grimshaw constantly complaining about the lazy ladies who'd rather be lost in terrible romance novels as if everything's fine. Why does that sound familiar?
These girls, Mr. Morgan, it's a shame they were princesses in fairy tales.
Well, it looks like they found their fairy godmother.
One of the hardest things to do when isolating such an involved female character is just that. Isolating her. It's impossible to properly unpack Grimshaw without partially unpacking the other members of the camp. Whereas Tilly, Marybeth, and Abigail have dreams and verifiable contributions to the gang, Grimshaw's greatest defining feature is only how she interacts with the people of the gang, how the camp administrator keeps everything and everyone in order. So, as the backbone, she will serve for this series as an excellent framing device for foreshadowing the future installments of this mega-analysis. Mr. Pearson, whom everyone respects, including Micah,
except Sadie,
will have his stew altered in secret by Susan should you fulfill her camp request.
If you're out on your adventures and you see any herbs for seasoning, would you mind grabbing them for me?
Seasoning?
Yes. Don't tell Mr. Pearson.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Here's those herbs you asked for.
Excellent, thank you. I'll slip these in Pearson's pot when he's not looking.
While it might be rude to add ingredients to another cook's pot, she is doing this on behalf of the whole gang. And based on the average Pearson stew, a touch of thyme is anything but uncalled for.
This is disgusting. Ugh. I wouldn't feed this to a hog. I should shoot Pearson for this.
When Pearson's stew, and by extension Pearson himself, is mocked by Lenny and Marybeth, Susan will defend Simon.
My God, what does he put in this slop?
He waits until the meat is crawling with lice, and then he cooks it.
Oh, that explains it.
Hey, you two, mind your manners a little. Mr. Pearson, he takes good care of us.
She will insist on respecting Pearson since he feeds and helps everyone. Swanson, on the other hand, helps nobody. But even so, Susan will defend his place in the family from Micah twice over, even though he has a point.
Rest of us out risking our necks so this degenerate man of the cloth can dissipate himself.
Leave the morality to Dutch, Mr. Bell.
And so she does criticize Swanson's insobriety.
You're a disgrace. A disgrace. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Get yourself cleaned up. Come on. It's pathetic. You, a man of the cloth. Away with you.
This shows us that she's not so strict that all men must be workhorses to be valid members of the gang, but like any caring person, she hates seeing a fellow family member succumb to drugs and drink. Outside of poker, the one camp interaction Susan has with Herr Strauss,
predatory loans. Don't worry your pretty head about the consequences.
It's in the final chapter of the main story, pre-epilogue, where the consequences of the gang's actions have finally caught up with them, and where Grimshaw's focus is honed on her corner of the camp.
I'm very nervous. Very worried, Fraulein. Very, very worried.
Well, me too, but as long as my girls are okay, I think, well...
What are we going to do? It's a nasty world out there, and it's catching up with us. I'm too old to be alone. And too scared to remain here.
It's very worrying. Very worrying indeed.
I'm so afraid. I'm so very afraid. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping at all.
Are you thinking about leaving?
I have no money. I am old. I am frightened. I am so frightened. Excuse me, but everyone has gone crazy.
Grimshaw agrees that the situation is terrible, but she has chosen to ignore the reality of their situation because, as I interpret it, she's focused on keeping up a good face for her girls, as well as a few more core reasons we'll explore later. Speaking of her girls, some of them may be subject to Trelawney's magic tricks, making whimsy for Kieran and making light of Grimshaw's plight.
How can romance ever be silly?
Arthur.
It's all we have.
Trust me, this one is silly. A banished prince, a servant girl who's really a princess, and a wicked stepmother.
Are you ever intending to do any work, miss?
Oh, Miss Grimshaw, the Desert Rose. You know, my dear, some people say you're an old crow, but I tell them that's nonsense. I tell them you just keep one in your ear.
Oh, you animal.
Through Grimshaw, we see that Trelawney's value is questionable, yet somehow undeniable. Annoying, yet welcomed. Like Sean, whenever you happen to save the young whippersnapper, Grimshaw may approach Arthur in camp for a job well done.
So you brought the loudmouth kid back to us.
I'm sorry. I wanted them to hang him.
Well, he amuses me. You done good, Arthur. Loyalty.
Loyalty. It's the one thing in this gang that goes without saying. It's why she got in Strauss's face for wanting to leave. And it's why she's proud of Arthur for also saving Micah, despite Micah being Micah.
I hear you saved Mr. Bell from a hanging.
I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose he'd do the same for you.
Exactly.
We're all in this together, Mr. Morgan. I know you know that.
Of course, Miss Grimshaw.
Loyalty is what she lives for, and it's why she dies, but we'll return to that later. Now, before Sean was returned, Kieran was kidnapped into the gang, abruptly inducted, and eventually respected enough to stand right next to Grimshaw as the gang held their guns before the Pinkertons. And after he goes missing at Jack's return party, Grimshaw will assume he's fine.
I'm worried. Well, I'm sure he'll turn up. His sort normally do.
But if you drive slow enough on your way to no, and thrice no after rescuing Jack, Susan will speak more honestly about her concern for the O'Driscoll boy, further proving that he's earned his place, which strikes deeper the dagger that'll pierce our hearts in that one mission.
Anyway, talking of folks disappearing, have you seen that boy Kieran since the party for Jack?
Come to think of it, no. That could be another problem.
Well, he'd be a real fool to turn on us now. But I can't imagine he'd last too long on his own.
Still.
Well, I'll get some eyes out. See if we can track him down.
Needless to say, some eyes were out. I'll see myself out. Back at Horseshoe, if you chose to stick around after hunting Barati, Susan will approach the player to pass on a message from Hosea, but only to inform you about the next mission taking place in Emerald Ranch.
Mr. Matthews gave me a message for you. He said when it was convenient to head into Emerald Ranch. He's looking at a few business things there.
Okay.
Oh, he'll find something too. He always does. Will you be well now, Mr. Morgan?
I'm always well, Miss Grimshaw.
And surprisingly, that's all the interactions Susan and Hosea have with each other. Though I suppose Hosea's worth is self-evident, to the point that Grimshaw doesn't need to comment on it, and vice versa. Still, even Lenny has at least some engagement with the matriarch, albeit off-screen. Susan was apparently the one who sent out Micah and Lenny as scouts after arriving in Horseshoe Overlook.
It's a decent place. There's food to eat, fools to rob. We'll be okay, as long as we don't linger too long.
We sent Micah and Lenny out scouting west to see what they could find.
Good. And we're gonna need to make a decent bit of money if we're gonna get out of this hole.
Oh, I know.
Well, this detail is probably to account for the fact that Dutch had already sent these two to do the same thing with the same foreshadowing of drunkenness tied to their dealings in Strawberry, but being gone for 2 whole weeks is narratively suspicious. Perhaps it's a sign that Grimshaw trusts Dutch's judgment in sending these men again, and that Lenny was ready for more important work. Now, someone who never had important work was Molly, and we know how that turned out. Even though the clearly mentally neglected and scorned woman was just spouting nonsense for a reaction, the laws of the outlaws were laid down by the outlaw keeper. As for the rest of the non-Marston women, Tilly, Karen, and Marybeth have a shared soft to severe hatred of their overseer. But even despite pulling Tilly's ear to get to work, Grimshaw will be the one to initiate the impromptu rescue mission to save her.
If they've touched a single hair on that girl's head, I will eviscerate the sons of bitches.
See? You do care, Miss Grimshaw.
Of course I care. About all of you fools. Some just require a firmer hand than others.
And she's the one to comfort her when times are at their worst.
It'll be okay, miss.
You sure?
No. But I'm sure you'll be okay. And I'm also sure that, well, I'm sure that I'm really proud of you. You've grown into a fine woman. And you'll be well. I just know it.
The one girl who will not be well is Karen, from whom we've already seen several catty exchanges throughout the game, beginning with minor rebellion and ending with a venomous spitting match after the introduction to Beaver Hollow.
And you're a f***ing murderer!
She broke the rules!
You broke the rules!
And yet, despite their mutual spite, Susan and Karen were a choir strong in many a song.
Tiddly-eye, tiddly-eye, for the one-eyed rabbit. Tiddly-eye, shit, piss, and corruption. Blow it out your bag's bag.
Our can is full, we'll pump it out, and then all hands to sea.
He could pick up his front ones whenever he chose to try, whenever he chose to try.
The culture of the camp was so positive that even rivals could carry a tune together, including Morning.
There you go, little birdies, fly in the sky. You fly all day long, sing your troubles by. I am doomed to this cell, I heave a deep sigh. My heart sings within me, in anguish I die.
It's surprising how much better Grimshaw's relationship is with Karen than with Marybeth.
Do some goddamn work, will you? I've been working.
Even though Marybeth will win many a poll no matter what the question is, because of her sweeter, kinder demeanor overall, of the core 3 handmaidens in the camp, Grimshaw seems to have the least amount of warmth for the aspiring author. We already saw her receiving a reprimand for reading,
idleness.
But she also will become gobsmacked after getting her gobsmacked for the same reason.
Do some work, dearie. This isn't a holiday camp.
Miss Grimshaw, I apologize.
This approach from Grimshaw's a little extreme. Like, when Karen got smacked, it was like drunkenness and blatant disrespect, and there's even moments where Grimshaw doesn't smack her for the blatant disrespect. It's weird that Marybeth's getting the full force of this. In another example, when it's time to eat itadakimasu, Marybeth will ask Susan a question too deep for her to stand, given the memories that come with it. But we're going to save that for later. Another moment I'm saving is an even more serrated exchange between these two in Chapter 6. The takeaways are too important to pass by and move on to the next brief interaction. Let's just say Susan's coldness to Marybeth might come from the same place that challenges Abigail, the actual mother in the gang and the only other lady to have been a saloon lady. The tension between her and Grimshaw shows up early when Abigail refuses to make money for the gang by whoring.
I just ain't doing that no more. We all of us have to sing for our supper, miss.
Sure, and singing's fine, but I'm done with that, and if you want me to leave, then that's fine too.
Well, I suppose I can discuss the matter with Dutch.
Do whatever you goddamn
Arthur.
please.
Hey, Dutch.
And Abigail sticks with her conviction to be a good mother, something Grimshaw never challenges after this, especially because this mother is dutiful looking after her son.
Most of the time.
Where's my goddamn son?
Now, as for Jack, he has one encounter with Grimshaw where the boy wonders where the family dog went.
Has anyone seen Kane? Where's Kane? Miss Grimshaw, have you seen Kane?
And Susan is sensitive enough to take him seriously and warm enough to reassure him.
No, son, sorry.
Morning,
I haven't.
partner.
I'm sure he'll turn up, though. He's a wanderer.
I'm really worried. Kane!
That's about all she has to say about the dog, so what about the other loyal animals? During an optimistic campfire speech, Bill will chime in after Grimshaw says, despite the losses, that Dutch will see them through.
Well, I'm
reckon we're on the turn now. Our luck's turning, we're going to be fine. I knew Dutch would have us right. I knew it. Never doubted him for a minute. Sad business when Davy passed. Sad business when anyone passes, but we're going to make it. Dutch will see us right.
Yeah, of course he will.
Exactly, Mr. Williamson. Of course he will. He's the ideal. The American this country was set up to create. He'll see us right.
This connection was made because she reinforces the confidence that they have in Dutch, which is the core of Bill's character, confidence in Dutch. And because this sentiment is spoken by several other gang members, even if it's delivered cautiously, I believe Susan's sincerity in saying it, which further reinforces how important loyalty is to her. Javier is similar to Bill in terms of stubborn loyalty, but his primary engagement with Grimshaw involves music. He plays the guitar.
You play the guitar.
And that guitar accompanies Karen and Susan singing a handful of times. It helps that he's a competent contributor, so she's more than favorable of his favorite pastime. Another Campfire music moment involves Charles, who, as far as I'm concerned, only directly interacts with Grimshaw by providing the harmonica to liven up her rendition of Buffalo Gals.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
And with all the crap I've been throwing at Charles recently for being present but distant, I need to rescind some of my distaste for him because of moments like this. The kind of moment that might be hinting that the outlaw life is a wonderful life.
Buffalo girls, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight?
But what about the other newcomer? Sadie, does she have any meaningful interactions with the woman who more or less embodies the exact opposite archetype of the kind of woman that Adler is? Nope.
It's blank.
Don't know what you were thinking there, Rockstar. I really don't know what you were thinking there.
You ain't seeing the vastness of our problems and our opportunities.
Well, you missed that one!
John's interactions with Grimshaw are also sparse, but like with Hosea, they also go without saying. She was the mother figure around when he was but a 12-year-old boy, and in Chapter 1, if you visit the main hall in Coulter for, I believe, after the third mission or the second time you get to free roam, Susan may be seated next to John as he recovers, reflecting her caring nature and demonstrating the history they've shared, the hustle, the loyalty, and the respect.
And those qualities go back to the beginning with Dutch himself, a man who used to be more than smitten with the cathouse kitten.
I'll remember the old days, Arthur. Me, you, Hosea, Dutch, playing poker till all hours.
You on Dutch's knee most of the time, from what I remember.
Oh, probably. Though mostly just so he could see my cards, I'm sure.
Long time ago now.
It explains why the two of them will dance in Chapter 3, where you can dance with Karen and leave Molly even further in the dark. So for a fling, Susan and Dutch used to be a thing. But that fact is further indicative of Grimshaw's big flaw.
Being the camp joke.
Her insecurity in potentially being undervalued and disrespected. And as we'll come to know through Molly, Dutch is a terrible human being. Well, I mean, you know, but from this angle, the angle of Eros. Remember how he treats the ladies? Well, you know, good, if they're young enough.
What a fine girl this is, Arthur.
Getting too old for you, am I? That's how it usually works with you, isn't it?
And Grimshaw used to be young enough for Dutch. We can find a photograph in camp of her from many moons ago, and she's lovely. But after a few years, perhaps aging was one of the many reasons why she and Dutch became romantically distant. Of course, she doesn't seem to hold a grudge against Dutch for this. She remains quite loyal up until the very end. But that feeling of having your best years behind you is the demon that nags at the back of Susan's mind. Now, let's bring one of the young ladies back into the equation, Mary Beth. While their beef may not be as mutual as Susan's catfighting with Karen, there's no one else that seems to get under Grimshaw's skin more than the hopeless romantic. Back to that one scene at supper. Mary Beth asks a deep question unprompted.
Do you believe in heaven,
Okay.
Miss Grimshaw?
Excuse me?
Do you believe in heaven?
Do you believe in God?
In all seriousness, Mary Beth asks a sincere question, so Grimshaw answers sincerely.
Heaven.
Yes, you know, angels, bright lights, that sort of thing.
Well, I once was engaged to a man, long time ago. He died. He was the best man I ever knew.
And I believe he's in heaven.
I never knew that.
Excuse me, please.
And she cuts off the conversation like a formally written letter. Sincerely. This scene is brief, but deep. Grimshaw initially brushes off the question as silly, but Mary Beth's innocence in asking enabled Susan to answer honestly, and that confronted her with her past, a past she had been trying to forget perhaps, because maybe losing her good man was what led her to her broken life now. And maybe her loyalty to Dutch and the gang is driven by her need to keep the things around her from being broken. It's why she's so strict. It's why she's so bitter. It's probably part of the reason why she did not approve of Mary Gillis for Arthur. You know, as you do as a mom.
One of the girls saw that friend of yours, Mary Gillis, sniffing about.
Mary?
Yes. I never liked that woman, Mr. Morgan. Funny business. Mr. Morgan, whatever did happen with that Mary Gillis?
It all came to nothing, Miss Grimshaw.
That's for the best.
Sure? Of course.
I never did like her very much.
I never liked her.
I know, you already told me that.
Ideas above her station.
On top of the idea that Mary Gillis represented the life that Arthur was not compatible with, there could also be this general layer of jealousy clouding her judgments on any other young woman with dreams.
They're whores with ideas miles above their station.
This phrase comes up a lot.
With my ideas above my station.
I ain't got ideas above my station.
Ideas above her station. She thinks we don't know her station.
That horrendous old hag!
It's archaic, but its meaning can easily be derived from context.
Ladies, am I sensing ideas above your station again?
It's like saying stay in your lane, but somehow it's even less warranted. It's not just sexist, because that's only when a man says it, but Grimshaw, woman, says it the most with the same purpose, devaluing the person. So what does it mean? Oh, how improper for you to be having, what was it? Standards? But not standards in the way that Grimshaw demands in the workforce, but in the quality of life. Like being able to relax with a book whenever you want, being able to prefer a man who isn't an outlaw, or even being able to not have to whore to make a living. Those examples are demonstrably what Grimshaw thinks are expectations too high for these women, dreams too lofty for ladies of low status. But did you notice those desires, by modern standards, actually no, by standards of that time, are normal? Any young person in a well-off enough culture believes that wherever and whatever unideal circumstances they happen to be in at the time, they will be in a better place in the future. They just know it.
I disagree. I ain't gonna die poor, I know that.
But Grimshaw knows that there is no better place for her. So to see women who still have their beauty and their unwrinkled eyes sparkling drives her to petty places. And she demands to deliver these women with dreams above their status to that same petty place of complacency. Granted, like Mary Beth, Tilly has dreams too, and Grimshaw has far more grace for Tilly. But that's because Tilly's background was the hardest of all the ladies. Yes, including Sadie's. It's one thing to run away from an awful upbringing at age 12 after mortally retaliating against one of your abusers, and it's another thing to merely be a pretty thing that got in trouble for taking trinkets. They are not the same. We are not the same. From Grimshaw's point of view, one of them already knows all too well how awful the world is, and the other needs to know. And that's why Grimshaw's gonna be the one to cut her down to size.
It fades. Trust me, it fades.
What fades?
Your youthful bloom. It fades. And it's a horror what's left.
Don't be like that, Miss Grimshaw.
I know how you girls laugh at me. I used to laugh at women just like me when I was young and pretty and sure of the world.
We have to remember, Grimshaw was pretty hot. And when a pretty hot woman gets old, gradually, but somehow also suddenly, she doesn't get the world handed to her. People don't do what she says just because she told them to, and over time, more and more men will be less inclined to look at her. Yes, I'm generalizing, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think this is what happens to women who used to be quite fine, and then they get old.
We don't laugh at you, miss.
You do. And you're right, too.
I'm laughable, pitiable, but it'll happen to you too. They'll stop looking soon enough, and that glass in your hand won't be so friendly neither.
It's bitterness from losing the entitlement she thought she had. Which is why I would personally advise to date and marry ugly. They'll accept whatever you give them and you will be happy. Worked out for me anyways.
Tell her, Mr. Morgan. Tell her about time.
I don't know too much about time, Miss Grimshaw. That's a bit beyond me.
Well, maybe I'll get lucky and die first.
On the macro level, this exchange involving a compact mirror is a further reflection of the gang's state and fate in this chapter. Time is running out for everyone. But on the personal level, it's yet another one of Grimshaw's laments of being laughed at behind her back.
I know how you girls laugh at me. I know you lot just laugh at me behind my back. I know what you say.
Disrespect irritates her the most. And it comes with the implication that she's undervalued. And that is the undercutting insecurity.
It's not easy at all. Being the camp joke.
Regarding the gang members who interact with Grimshaw, the two that I hadn't mentioned are Micah and Uncle, in part because I already covered their analyses in full so they wouldn't fit on the framing device of listing them with the others, but the other reason is that the odd order in which I chose to start unpacking these characters worked out perfectly, because both Micah and Uncle expose the broken heart of this matriarch further by being the only two tramps in camp to make the moves on the camp mom. Now, before, we've seen this scene of Micah making a repulsive remark.
Gets me all hot and bothered. I love it.
You'll not charm me, Mr. Bell.
I'll certainly try.
And try he does, because in one of these scenes, he manages to charm her enough to get her to get this close to him.
How about you keep me company?
Really, Mr. Bell? You flatter me.
But this was just Micah doing a greet antagonize.
Tell me some stories about when you was young and pretty, before time ravaged you.
You horrible man.
That's right.
The way in which she pushed him and stormed off is proof that she was genuinely duped and was not playing along just to see him fumble. Micah, on top of being the other two animals, is a pig, and most other camp encounters he has with Grimshaw ends up undermining her perception of her beauty. But in this scene, there's that tiny hint of longing that reveals itself, not for a guy like him per se, but for the possibility of being valued in this romantic way. It's why on 2 occasions, Uncle is almost successful in going on a date with her.
There you are.
Me?
You.
Me?
Yes, you. When are you going to let me take you out for an evening into town? You know, to like a magic lantern show or some such.
Well, I think I'm getting a little long in the tooth for...
Oh, nonsense. How about tomorrow?
Well, let me think.
So that's a yes?
Okay.
Well, now if I'm going to go out with you, I'm going to have to look my best. So can I borrow $10? Can I borrow a few dollars? I'm good for it.
Borrow money? Oh, you horrible man!
Well, you can't blame a fellow for trying. I say, all this adventure and wandering over mountain passes, being chased and running for our lives, surely agrees with you. You know, if I didn't know, I'd think you's the same age as them silly girls.
Away with you, silly man.
Oh, no. Well, if I was 5 years younger, and $1,000 richer, well, I'd marry you. Make a dishonest woman of you, I would. Yeah. And that'd be the best decision I ever took. You're a fine woman. Oh, you keep it hidden under that sour vinegar face, nasty acid tongue. But I know that's just a rose's thorns.
You're a silver-tongued flatterer and no mistake.
Oh, no, I tell the truth, ma'am.
I must get back to my work.
Oh, there's something about that woman. Sweet and sour.
I am sorry, Uncle. I was not aware of your game. It's not Red Dead Revolver. But isn't it fascinating how two of the most undesirable men of the gang were the only ones who came close to wooing Susan? She's a heartbroken woman. What woman who's horribly lost love wouldn't be tempted to give it another chance, even if the odds are bad and the goods are worse? That's why she stays in the gang until the very end, like Bill and Javier, because where else can she validate her purpose? Unlike the younger ladies, Grimshaw doesn't get to start over in a new life with a husband or a good career like Tilly and Marybeth, respectively, or at least it doesn't seem likely. The only place where her value manifests in her mind is in the gang of a terrible man, a man so terrible she's not so blindly loyal that she won't call him out for his bad leadership.
Dutch, what is going on?
Going on, miss?
With you! You're not yourself somehow.
And who am I?
I have no idea. Who are you?
Who are you? To question me, I mean.
I have always been loyal, Dutch. And I shall go on being loyal, but what are we doing here? We need to move and keep moving.
We need money! You dumb fool! Money! Or we are dead! We are all dead!
But at the end of the game, she's still there. Her final act is joining Arthur's side of the camp, pointing the shotgun at the rat and proving herself to be loyal to what matters most. But as we know, it doesn't matter.
Be quiet. You live in the clouds.
No, you be quiet, Mr. Bell, and put down your gun.
There's Pinkertons coming, fast!
Now! Who amongst you is with me? And who is betraying me?
Now, the community, including I,
Are you serious right now, bro?
have joked that Dutch is dumb for asking this when Micah's the one to fire off the mortal wound, but this is a chaotic moment. From Dutch's perspective, having just heard that his most trusted advisor is the traitor, he was attempting to grasp the situation. The moment the embodiment of this gang's structural support collapsed, he attempts to regain control of the situation, showcasing how, unlike Grimshaw, who could talk smack and smack talk some sense into those not in line, his talent and preferred method for dealing with people is gun. And if that don't work, use more gun. The scene continues with the consequences of what happens when the gang loses its backbone. In no time at all, everyone disperses. There's no camp, no home to go back to, and officially, the gang dissolved. For Susan Grimshaw, as a strong female character, she could not have been written with a more fittingly worse death. Her end was finding that her decades-long support and approval of a given man was not only entirely fruitless, but to then get shot for doing the right thing, for making the right call, and to bleed out with nobody coming to check on you.
She gets shot, and because there is a big standoff happening, no one even checks on her. So she's lying there bleeding out.
Oh,
and
perfect.
no one comes to check on her. And here she's dedicated her life to these people. And then our incredible director, Rod Edge, is behind me. I'm on a mat where I fell. And he's saying, like, one more moan. So I'm like in the death throes, and he'd whisper, and it goes, when you see the scene, it goes on like throughout the dialogue, and still nobody checks on her.
Oh.
It's so sad.
Excruciating physical pain is one thing. It's how everyone comes into this world. But what's far worse than that? Loneliness. Susan Grimshaw was a bitter woman. But as Whitebird said,
Tea is strong. Tea is bitter. Wisdom is strong. Wisdom is bitter. You see?
She might have had insecurities that tore others down on occasion, but she truly cared for her people and had a sensible mind to make sure that at least some of them would make it out okay. That is how she lived. And it's how she died. Sometime after, Charles Smith found her body and buried her with the honor she earned. But there's one more thing we need to address. Notice that she calls the man she was engaged to, well, engaged to.
I once was engaged to a man, long time ago. He died.
And let's recall her name on the portrait. Grimshaw is her maiden name. That detail is minor, but important. It means she never got to marry the good man, to have the good life. It means that his death is why she ended up in the life she was in. And altogether, it means that most of her life was already gone. And there weren't any more good paths forward. At least, not the kind she'd be able to see. I don't want to be misheard. There is always hope in this life. But too often, our past life choices will bring us to places that blind us from better possibilities. Meaning that any further action we take becomes a compromised choice. Which brings us to her name. Now, Susan means lily, a flower, pretty, befitting of the irony of the woman who feels like they lost their beauty.
We all know flowers wither. Ain't no shame in it.
But what is going on with the name Grimshaw? Well, we could do the compound word analysis. Grim is dark, deathly, and gloomy, and shaw is a thick growth of shrubs and branches, as in a thicket, something dense and unpleasant to sift through. Now, that might describe an English vampire, but while Susan Grimshaw isn't always pleasant, this description of a Grimshaw doesn't quite match who she is. But it does match where she dies. Beaver Hollow is within a dense forested region, Roanoke Ridge, filled with pumas and people who are equally as likely to eat you. So thematically, it may have been fitting for her to have fallen in the kind of place she's named after, but I don't think that's what's really happening with her name. There's another kind of Grimshaw that more perfectly encapsulates the conditions of the Vanderlyn gang. First of all, remember at the end of Chapter 5 when Dutch was spouting off that secret code?
White to D4, black to F5, white to G3, knight to F6, bishop to G2, black to G6, knight to F3.
What are you doing?
Working it all out. Once and for all, Arthur. And I am contemplating the great journey of the sun and considering a famous chess move.
This chess move is famous, or perhaps infamous, for being an offensively aggressive opening of black responding to white's orthodox and statistically sound opening of 1d4. This move is called the Dutch opening, and it has another name. A dick move. It's a risky response that makes the rest of the game completely unfriendly and requires precision and matched aggression from white for white to win. But just as Dutch couldn't play nicely with society, society must play not nice to beat him. Now, the reason this all relates with Grimshaw is because Grimshaw is another chess term. So having demonstrated that Rockstar had chess on the mind when making this thematic connection, I don't see it as a stretch to include the chess problem device known as a Grimshaw as additional inspiration. Now, for those who don't know, because I didn't, a chess problem is a puzzle using chess pieces and rules to require the user to meet a given condition. For example, as white, go first and try to mate in 2 moves against any defense from black. Things like that. A Grimshaw is a device where 2 pieces will compromise the other's movement if either one of them is moved onto a certain square. In this example, the rook or the bishop, if one was moved to this square, would interfere with the other's ability to move, thus making their defense against the oncoming white pieces weaker no matter which action is taken. In other words, no matter what black decides to do, they're compromised. Sound familiar? Get out of here while it's thawing, or rob a train before we leave. Either way, compromised. Rob the one family or the other family. Either way, compromised, and guess what? They tried to do both, and their defense weakened. Erase Bronte from the equation or just deal with it. Either way, compromised. Rob the bank at night or rob it during the day. Compromised either way. Escape onto the boat to freedom? Nope, to chains. They get out of it, sure, but as soon as everyone got back together, their position was already compromised yet again. And after all that, that's when Dutch employs his own strategy for winning this big game. But because there was always a Grimshaw on the gang's side of the board, no matter what moves he made, everything had a price. Some moves he was okay with.
Good. I prefer it this way.
And others he was not.
John.
To be clear, there's nothing about Grimshaw the person that meant the gang was always going to lose. She's not like the Fatal Flaw or anything. In fact, she's the opposite. She's a crucial element in keeping the gang intact. But maybe that was the problem. Susan Grimshaw is an excellent character. Not merely as a female, just a good character, period. However, just as Arthur is for men, Susan is a great example of what women can be and also an example of what they should not be. Keep the ball rolling. Make sure that the people around you are being the best versions of themselves. But you gotta protect that self-worth. Who knows what kind of monsters you might enable if you don't.